I'm Shiph, and this is my launch video. I am so excited to launch today. It's something I've been wanting to start for a really long time. Yeah, I don't pretend to be an expert on culture and love, but I am really interested. And I hope to study culture for a long time, and I hope to learn love for the rest of my life. I'm putting this out there. I'm hoping to document my thoughts and develop my thoughts. Totally feel free to leave your brutally honest and healthy at the same time comments in the comment section, and let's do this together. Jesus dying on the cross, giving his life for all people like you and me, and that love is among us, and also that love takes us beyond ourselves. So I hope this channel can draw in a group of old friends and new friends, people with thoughts of their own, beliefs that might be different than mine, personalities that might be different than mine, but we can just come together with our different ways of living and connect the way that love connects people. So my goal is to bring you a video every week on Fridays to start your weekend off with an adventure on culture and love. So what better way than to start with my current cultural obsession, none other than Iceland. Welcome to Iceland!
I'm in Iceland.
Here are 10 reasons why I believe that Iceland made this island girl feel right at home. Iceland is spelled Iceland, which looks like island to me, and it is an island, so there you go. Number one, we're islanders. I sounded like the father in my big fat Greek wedding. At first, the father, uses his knack for always saying his language and culture and everyone else's language and culture to kind of give off a sense of superiority over other people's languages and cultures, but he comes around eventually to using that skill and that perspective to not disconnect, but actually connect. And he brings different people together. So here's a cute little clip of that father doing just that. In the end, you're Arctic Ocean, we're Pacific Ocean, we're all ocean islanders. We all are island together. Number two, talking about names, we have names that are intimidating to a lot of people, like my name. My name has 3 consecutive vowels in it. That's a triple pack of power with an apostrophe just for kicks. And Samoans and Polynesians love their compound names. So do Icelanders. They have their umlauts and accented vowels with all their consonants and a generous dose of vowels. And if you get that one letter wrong or switched up with another letter, you might end up in a very different place on the map of Iceland. Like this famous volcano is named, and there's a YouTuber that tries to share with the world how Icelanders pronounce that, the way to pronounce this. Yeah, if you know how to pronounce any of these words, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section with a phonetic breakdown and take us to school. Number 3, our people are strong. Icelanders are from the stock of Vikings, and we Samoans are warriors. That's what we're known for in our regions of the world. They have Annie Thorisdottir, which I looked up to. She got consecutive title as the fittest woman on earth. She's from Iceland. Fittest woman on earth. That girl is strong, okay? So they're known for that, and we're known for The Rock. Dwayne Johnson puts our reputation out there for the world to see. We're strong people. Quite frankly, this idea that Samoans are naturally obese No, no, no. We may be big boned, strong structures. I'm good with that. We are strong people physically, and also we're just pretty strong people in essence too. We have a strong culture. I think Icelanders, you know, I feel at home with them too, because this is a culture that comes from Viking history, and that's very strong. 4, life is slower, and I think that comes with just being islanders, but honestly, life is really awesomely slow and in a very kindred way. So like we would be driving the south coast of Iceland, and if we saw like a bunch of Nordic horses, we would not pull over, we would just park in the middle of the road. And it wasn't because I was on the 91 in traffic, but because I could park in the middle of the road because no one else was behind me for miles. And the air is so clean, which I'll get to, so the visibility is amazing, so you can see that there's no one behind you for miles. And yeah, not just take a photo, but a photo shoot. It's awesome. And yeah, we also have one main road that goes around the island of Samoa, or the island of Savai'i, the island of Fiji, or Viti Levu specifically. So that's something that's pretty kindred. 5, not only is our pace slow, but our cooking is slow. Same thing in Iceland. They slow cook their food. Something that was awesome was going to Lagaga Fontana instead of the Blue Lagoon. Much more natural and much more of a locals thing. So we went to Lagaga Fontana hot springs, and they also give a tour of how culturally Icelanders make this thing called lava bread, which is basically Samoans out there who know what I'm talking about, fepulea'i. It is the Samoan fepulea'i, but Icelanders are making it. And they make it in this pot for 24 hours in a hot spring, and we got to taste it. It was so good. With Icelandic butter, which reminded me of like New Zealand butter. And I am usually affected by dairy. I did not get hives eating this butter. Phenomenal. Why? Because the butter was made with love from a cow who was raised with love. I'm very sure of it. Okay, anyways, not only do they slow cook their food, but they use the ground to slow cook their food. So do we. We have something called the umu. They have the hot springs. They make fepulea'i. They call it lava bread. 6, safety is pretty unique and awesome in Iceland, and it's because of their community. You can be strolling along with your baby in the city streets, and like if you're interested in going into a store, you just leave the baby stroller with your baby outside of the store, and like locals do that, I guess. I've read that. I didn't see it personally, but I did get the sense that safety was pretty much assumed all around. The crime rate in Iceland is less than 1%, and the majority of that 1% is non-violent. How cool is that? Well, in Samoa, what I can resonate with is this assumption that you have your community looking out for your safety. So much so that our houses, traditionally called the Fale, it's not even like you can leave your door open. No. The Samoan house, the Samoan Fale, doesn't even have doors. It's all open. Your neighbors can see you, you can see your neighbors. Safety based on community. 7, legends. Samoan culture is full of legends. My favorite legend, Samoan legend, is Nafanua, a chief, a queen, and a warrior. She's like the Samoan Wonder Woman. She's like the Samoan Lady Boss. She has a legendary legacy, and I'll leave a link in the description box with more details. In Iceland, legends are a big deal, and particularly the legendary community of elves. Do you know how many big decisions Iceland has made? like as a nation, based on the protection of the elf community. 8% of Icelanders, according to like a 2007 survey, believe that elves exist. Like 8%. That's not a majority, right? But 54% of Icelanders surveyed wouldn't deny that elves exist. And that is where I come in celebrating our commonality, because I deeply respect and appreciate the admission of the unknown. Like if something is unknown, I would rather be silent than speak into the silence when silence is key, but that's a whole nother video. For now, simply put, the admission of the unknown is authentic, it's humility, it's something that a healthy community can work with. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think that is an incredible perspective for a culture and community to have. Number 8, Iceland is beautiful naturally. Its natural beauty is truly raw and wild. The fresh air, the fresh water, the untouched landscapes, it's raw, it's wild, and that is the natural beauty of Iceland. I feel at home with that because that's how Samoa's beauty is too. The natural beauty of Samoa's landscape, the greenery, the lush mountains, the wild ocean shores, it's just that. It's raw, it's not manicured unless you're going to a resort, but it's mostly just wild. The bush is the bush. It's not like pruned and trimmed, it's just left to be what it is. And I feel very at home with the idea of natural beauty being left untouched, allowed to be raw and allowed to just grow wild as it is. Yeah, the water that we would drink in Fiji was not Fiji water in a bottle. I remember tasting Fiji water in a bottle once in Fiji and wanting to spit it out. In Iceland, your water comes from the local glacier and right into the faucet of your home. It's amazing. And if you want hot water for cooking or for showering, the geothermal activity below your feet should do the trick. And that's how 87% of the nation's housing is heated. Like your house gets heat and your water is heated by geothermal energy. And number 9, geysers. Iceland is known for having the geyser, Geysir, that gave name for other geysers to be called geysers. In Iceland, the geysers are inland, and it's the power of earthquake activity being seen at the surface, producing these incredible like stroker and little geyser blowholes. So enjoy. And finally, congratulations to everyone for making it this far. My 10th reason for why the island girl in me feels at home in Iceland. Iceland is the land of fire and ice. I personally like to think that it's the Samoan cultural heritage that I went to Iceland with that allowed me to resonate with the fire in the land of fire and ice. We're both hotspots. Samoa is a hotspot. Iceland is a hotspot. And I'm not talking about your Wi-Fi. I'm talking about volcanic hotspots. Samoa and most Polynesian islands are volcanic archipelagos located in hotspots where minerals are melted, magma is formed, and lava erupts, right? And our soil is very rich, and fire is very much brought into the social norms of the Samoan community. Samoan culture is known for fire and what we do with fire. If you've gone to the Polynesian Culture Center, then you've seen this. So I resonate with the fire in the land of fire and ice. And moreover, I really appreciate that Icelandic culture carries the duality of these two extremes, fire and ice. It should cancel each other out, right? It seems contradicting, and yet it isn't. Instead, this land brings fire and ice together and creates this unique beauty, this fascinating thing called Icelandic culture. So there you go. 10 reasons why I think Iceland and Samoa are deeply connected. And you know what? It's not just these two countries, these two cultural groups. I think it's true for all of us. Something that looks so other on the surface could, below the layers, be very deeply connected. Kind of like Robert Madu. I was listening to him speak at Elevation, one of my favorite communities from North Carolina, and he just breaks down how we are connected in a really great way. Sometimes it's hard to see how I can relate to someone and like the differences overtake and I'm not really that interested in connecting. But when our commonalities are richly explored, that's when the wonder of love can captivate our attention. It's the wonder of love that brings diversities together as one, like male and female anatomical differences, created purposefully unique, but purposefully to come together in those differences. And I mean, we call that making love, right? I think that speaks powerfully to how love is. Love celebrates differences that bring us together. There are sacred texts that record a whole nation group of people following what they believed was the instruction of God to create these altars. And it's the people of Israel in ancient history that were told to make sure the stones were uncut, that these stones would be just as they are, broken wherever they are, not to be manicured, but to just be brought as they are and then fit with another broken stone, and that their brokenness would come together, or that their rough edges would be brought together, or that their different ways of being formed and shaped would come together, and you would bring these stones and make an altar to God. And I think that is a glimpse of sublime love, supreme love, divine love. I hope we're a little more cultured and a little more in awe of love. Stay in awe and remember, you are awesome.